High Court of Australia is set to decide whether states can tax residents based on their cars and how far they drive. Electric vehicle owners in Victoria are being slugged 2.6 cents for each kilometre they drive on top of their annual registration fees. Joining me in the studio now is Paul Marriage, co-founder of Car Expert. And Paul, this really is a landmark case, whichever way the decision goes. Talk us through what is at the heart of this.
Look, at the heart of it is an excise that's being imposed on Victorian drivers of plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and also full electric vehicles. And it basically means that every single kilometre you travel, you're going to have to tip some money into the government's coffers.
So far, Victoria is the only state with these kind of levies in place. Are we in Victoria putting people off electric vehicles by this?
Look, electric vehicles are popular by nature of it being new technology, but it really does put a bad taste in the mouth of people that do want to drive one. It does offset the costs that you're already paying at the Bowser anyway if you drive an internal combustion vehicle, but it is just an added cost that really makes that hurdle to adopting an electric vehicle just much harder.
On the flip side of the argument then, if you're not paying for fuel, then how do electric vehicles fund road maintenance?
People won't like my answer to this, but look, I'm an EV driver and I want to make sure that our roads are properly funded. I use the roads the same way that anyone else does, and I do think there needs to be some level of contribution to our road funds, but I just don't think this is the right way to be doing it, and not at this point anyway.
Paul, big deterrence to EVs is the access to reliable charging. We saw some vision of electric vehicles lining up for charging stations over the Christmas period. Is it getting better? Does it need to get better?
Look, in my opinion, it's actually getting worse. We're seeing a much bigger influx of electric vehicles, and you have a lot of these private companies that profiteer from government funds to roll out charging infrastructure, but they don't maintain them. So you'll roll up to a bank of 10 chargers and maybe 3 or 4 of them don't work, and there's no requirement for them to stay working. So it is pretty frustrating, especially as that is your only power source while you're travelling. They really need to be working, and they need proper agreements to make sure that they're maintained.
Because the demand for electric vehicles continues to increase, right?
Yeah, look, each month, last month, for example, Tesla Model 3 was the 3rd best-selling car in the country, and that is a full electric vehicle. It's not anything we've seen before, and adoption will only continue to grow as manufacturers in Europe, where we source a lot of our cars from, start to phase out internal combustion cars altogether.
Yeah, and you go to the US, they're very popular there, only going to get more popular here. Paul Marriage, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.